Hello, everyone. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the madness that is our world. Welcome to what has been probably the most difficult yet straightforward research for a cabinet meeting ever for me. I see everybody coming in. You guys are joining. I talked to a few friends. First, in regards to whether I was going to dive into this. And, I'm a person that has friends. I say it all the time. My friend group is the United Nations. I have friends who are Jewish. I have friends who are Arabic. And friends who are African, friends who are American, from all walks of life, friends from Eastern Europe. And I have talked about so many, geopolitical conflicts over the years. And this by far has to be the toughest to date. It is the toughest to date because certain things you just can't make an excuse for, no matter how noble that person or that group may think that their reasoning behind doing it is. For this particular meeting, I am going to take a deep dive and dissect what has happened, what I feel is going to happen, the political fallout of it. We're also going to take a look into the Israeli missile and rocket defense system, the Iron Dome, and see how that works. Because there's been a lot of questions about that. And just take a look into how all of this has, in the span of a few days, reshaped the world stage. And there's this sentiment in America, especially because we have a shit show of our own going on here. As Americans, we often have the luxury of being able to watch global conflict like a television show. Because the way that we have been conditioned as a country, as a society, as a people, that those conflicts outside of September 11th just don't affect us. And living in America, you can understand why that is. I totally get it. So we're going to get right into it. Okay? So, what happened in Israel? Well, last weekend, Hamas, which we're going to get into who they are, did a sneak attack on Israel. Israel got caught sleeping, bitch, with all of the United States assistance, all of the intelligence, all the United States funding, and military reinforcements. Somehow, some way, this terrorist organization, Hamas, managed to catch Israel sleeping. And people are still trying to figure out how that happened, bitch. So, how did this all happen? So, according to, and I'm reading NPR I'm going to cite my source here. In the lead up to the October 7th attack, Hamas made an effort to throw Israeli officials off the scent, including 2 years of subterfuge by Hamas that involved keeping its military plans under wraps and convincing Israel it didn't want to fight. So that's the first thing. For 2 years, Hamas is like, bitch, we don't want no beef, bitch. You know, you got us on the ropes, Wham Bam Chappelle. We don't want it. That was the first thing. Israel took the bait and thought it was containing a war-weary Hamas. All the while, Hamas fighters were being trained and drilled, often in plain sight. The Israelis were not worried about what Hamas was going to do, but this was all a part of the plan, and that's why the Israelis had all their eyes on what was happening in the West Bank instead of looking at Gaza. Okay? In addition to turning its attention away from Gaza and towards the West Bank, Israel was also overly confident of the defenses it had put in place against a Hamas attack. They built the Iron Dome system, which we're going to get into, and how that works, which has been effective. However, Hamas took the guerrilla approach. Okay? What they did was they took out communications towers, bitch, with what's called improvised explosives. So instead of sending long-range rockets and things like that, they had men flying in on man-made hang gliders, bitch. This is some, if you've ever seen the movie Red Dawn, bitch, this is some Red Dawn shit, bitch. So they had hang gliders with makeshift gas tanks on them and shit, flying in, crossing the border. They had an air approach, they had a land approach, and they had a sea approach. Okay? Now, Hamas gagged the fuck out of them. Okay? What they did, looking at everything that happened, they used a guerrilla approach to surprising. They went low tech. Let's call it what it is. They went low tech. So Israel has this Iron Dome. They have these massive military supports. They have, this big giant U.S. funding. Hamas says, okay, we can't compete with that. We're going to go low tech. And they took a guerrilla warfare approach, and that's how they gagged Israel. Now, here's the thing. We can go back and forth about why Hamas is doing what they're doing. We can go back and forth about who we feel is right and who we feel is wrong. Okay? For those of you who watch on YouTube, we have a video in the archives talking about the entire history of Israel and Palestine and how they arrived to who has what land today. The thing is, when you start killing innocent people, civilians, when you start killing children, burning babies, attacking concert goers at a music festival, your argument starts to, nobody's paying attention to your gripe, which, to be fair, and I want to be clear here, I am not being anti-Semitic. To be fair, the Palestinians feel as though their land was taken away from them. And they have the right to feel that way. I'm going to say this again for the people in the back. The Palestinians feel that their land has been slowly and gradually taken away from them unjustly, and they have the right to feel that way. What is not cool is when you kill children, babies, and innocent people. Come on, guys. You can't do that. I don't want to turn on the news on national television and see dead babies on the news. That's not cool on either side. Because we're going to get to Israel's response in a minute. I'm going to do this as even as possible. I'm not taking a side. Because guess what, bitch? I'm a black man in America. I'm going to call out an atrocity. But as far as the land war about who deserves to live where, I'm not speaking on that because I don't live there. I'm not Israeli and I'm not Palestinian. Okay? But what I am going to speak out against is you killing children, old people, and babies. Why are you beheading babies? Like, come on, niece. That you're doing too much. You're doing too much. So when you start doing that, I don't really care about the other shit because I'm looking at children on TV with their heads missing. And the way that I was raised, children are off limits. Children have they have no stake in this. So we have to be mindful of that. Can't condone it. Now, what is Hamas? Who is Hamas, bitch? Who are these people that came in on hang gliders and shit and gooped the fuck out of not only the Israeli government, bitch, you got to keep in mind the U.S. works very closely with Israel. So they gooped the American government, bitch. This is where I have questions because, bitch, I live in America. We supposed to be the T when it comes to intelligence and knowing what the fuck is going on, bitch. And the fact that they gooped the fuck out of Israeli intelligence and American intelligence, bitch, I'm low-key clutching. I'm low-key clutching the pearls. Okay? Now, what is Hamas? So, Hamas, it was formed in 1987 at the start of the first Palestinian uprising against Israel. It's an offshoot of the Muslim Brotherhood, a transnational Sunni Islamic group that first formed in Egypt. Hamas, which stands for, in English, translated into English, Islamic Resistance Movement, wants to create a Palestinian state. It rejects any peace deal with Israel, which it refuses to recognize. It is considered a terrorist organization by Israel, the U.S., and a number of other Western countries. Hamas has only one agenda, which is to destroy Israel and murder Jews, according to Secretary of State Antony Blinken, which he told reporters Thursday at a press conference. Okay? The military wing of Hamas, which is the wing that organized this attack, is currently overseen by Marwan Issa, reportedly born in a Gaza Strip refugee camp, and Mohammed Deif, who is said to be the mastermind of the latest assault on Israel. Israel has previously tried to assassinate Deif, bitch. The plot thickens, bitch. Let me choose my words carefully. I'm walking a tightrope, y'all. This is the hardest meeting I've ever had to do. You have this group Hamas, whose military is overseen, let's read this again, overseen by Marwan Issa, who was born in a Gaza Strip refugee camp. So let's think about who orchestrated this attack. Let's look into the psyche. You have a person heading the military behind this attack who was born in a refugee camp in a piece of land on the Gaza Strip where Palestinians are getting pushed back away. So he's already growing up with a mindset. He was born into this shit. He was born into it. So we already, I don't even got to explain to you, we here. We already know where he coming from. Then the person who masterminded the attack previously dodged an assassination attempt from Israel. So you already know where his mind is at. Once again, I want to be very clear. I don't care how noble your intentions may be or how worthy you may think your cause is. When you kill children, all of that goes out the window. I want to be very clear about that again. Okay? But when I look at who orchestrated this attack and put it together, it's starting to ring a bell to me. Now, allegedly also, Hamas, while they was playing sheep and acting like they ain't want no beef, bitch, they had actually built mock cities and settlements, according to reports, to train their people on how to invade these villages and settlements where these people are. So they was playing the long game like a motherfucker. Okay? Crazy. The fact that they were doing this training, now I'm going to look at the government piece. Okay? We're going to take the people out of it for just a moment. It says to me that the government, both U.S. and Israeli, y'all was lunching. Y'all was sleeping. How are these people able to train in the open air, build mock cities, come up with the plan, and nobody knew about it? The crazy thing is this. There's always a snitch in every camp. I don't care how tight-knit you are. There is always a snitch in every movement. I am gagging that out of 2 years of preparation, there was not one snitch in this movement. And I'm guaranteeing if it was, they probably offed them really quickly. So it's amazing how that happened. Okay? Now, they've killed some 1,200 people, innocent people, men, women, children, and the elderly. Not cool. Not cool at all. And then you didn't even give these people quick, dignified deaths. You burnt babies. You chopped off the heads of some of the terrible deaths. Okay? So now, Israel pissed, bitch. So we done took a look at what happened, how it happened. Okay? So we know what happened. We know how they planned it, how they executed it. Now we got to think about the response from Israel. Now Israel, and bitch, it's getting ready to get busy, bitch, when we get into this dome system, bitch. Okay? Israel has a defense system. Because, now we got the Israeli troops. They done mobilized. Israel has mobilized about 360,000 troops to go. They get ready to go in. They already going in, bitch. They done said, we ain't fucking around no more, bitch. We are seizing the Gaza Strip. Okay? Now, Israel has this defense system. This is the defense system that Hamas knew they couldn't really beat, which is why they went low-tech and guerrilla style. The system is called the Dome, bitch. The Iron Dome, bitch. Gagged, bitch. That sounds like a movie name. Like, you know, like we about to super fight or some shit. Right? So, how does the Iron Dome work? Okay? So, the Iron Dome is a mobile air defense system designed to protect against short-range rockets. It was initially conceived in the early 2000s, became operational in 2011. 3 parts make it work, okay? First, there's the radar. So this system has radar. When a rocket, so when Palestine or whoever launches a rocket into Israel, the system detects it and collects the data on its flight path. So boom, Palestine shoot a rocket, short-range rocket, over to Israel. The radar on the Iron Dome defense system be like, boom, we saw the rocket, bitch. Let's get the data and see where the fuck it's going at. Then after you do that, bam, the information is sent to a computer that then puts the logistics in where the rocket is going. So they collect the data. The radar collects the data. Oh, bitch, we see you. We see you, bitch. Eye on the ball. Bam. Let's send this over to the computer, bitch, so we can detect where the fuck it's going to land at. Okay? Then, if the system calculates that the rocket is going to land in a populated area or a place of strategic importance, it activates the last piece of the system, which is the launcher. So we got 3 parts of the dome system. We have the radar, which is like, boom, bitch, I saw you. You got the second piece, which is the computer, like, ooh, bitch, we gonna figure out where the fuck you going. Then we got the third point, the launcher, bitch. The launcher is like, bitch, you won't land in this community. You won't land at this museum. You won't land at this hospital. Launcher, activate, bitch. And it's giving Power Rangers. The launcher fires Tamir interceptors to collide with the rocket mid-air. Now, and it collides and boom, rocket explodes. We don't hit nothing. You just get a little shrapnel, move the fuck out the way. If a rocket is going off course and is just going to land, let's say in a desert, they call it the Negev desert, they just let that one go. So if the rocket is coming off and it's just landing in an unpopulated area in a desert some goddamn where, they not wasting interceptors on that. They just gonna let that one slide. Okay? Now, this defense system is said to be between 90 to 97% accurate. So it is a good system. And just from watching the news and things like that, it does seem to be pretty successful. Okay? Now let's get into the cost, bitch. This system is a coin. She's a coin. Each missile it launches cost about $40,000 to $50,000. $40,000 to $50,000. So every time, just think about it, bitch. So the next time you watching the news with all of this shit, and you hear them rockets going off in Israel, bitch, and you hear another rocket come and blow it out the air, just count the money, bitch. That's $50,000 every goddamn time. The U.S. has poured billions of dollars into its development and maintenance. Okay? So, how does the U.S. come into play with this? So, the project was spearheaded by this company, Rafael Advanced Defense Systems, a state-run defense firm that would spend the next 5 years fine-tuning the technology. Okay? It was first developed in Israel in 2006 in response to the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. You can research that if you want to look into that. The U.S. has invested nearly $3 billion into its launchers, interceptors, and general maintenance. Okay? And there is likely more U.S. aid in the pipeline. With President Biden saying on Tuesday, surging additional military assistance, including ammunition and interceptors to replenish the dome, is on the way. In addition to the Biden's pledge, a group of U.S. lawmakers in the House introduced a bipartisan bill that this week that would appropriate an additional $2 billion to help boost the Iron Dome. Okay. Now, speaking of the House, they was able to get a bipartisan bill on the floor for this, but they still can't find a speaker. So let's do a, you know how in the comic books they be like, meanwhile in Genosha, meanwhile in the House, bitch, all of this is going on. The Republicans still can't figure out a speaker. So they had a prelim vote to decide between Jim Jordan and Steve Scalise. Scalise won, but now Scalise can't get to the 217 votes needed to actually become the speaker, bitch. And word on the street behind the scenes is that Kevin McCarthy is like, bitch, if I can't be the speaker, ain't none of y'all motherfuckers gonna be the speaker. So Kevin McCarthy, behind the scenes, like, bitch, no, don't vote for Steve, bitch. He is not the T. It's just messy, okay? While all of this is going on. Back to the action. Now, of course, you know Israel ain't gonna let this slide, bitch. Israel has mobilized, like I said, 360,000 troops. They are going to be going by, well, they are going now at this point, by land, sea, and air. And they are determined to essentially wipe the Gaza Strip off the fucking map, bitch. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky, a little messy. They also said that they have cut the water, the electricity, and it was something else. But the water and electricity and humanitarian aid, I believe, or something like that, to the Palestinian government, Palestinian citizens. Now, currently Hamas has about 150 hostages. So they're saying that they're going to withhold, they're going to cut the electricity, the water, necessities until Hamas releases those hostages. Here's the problem with that. You're cutting essential resources from 2 million people. 2 million people. For an outlying terrorist group, you're making 2 million people suffer for something that they really don't have anything to do with. If you've looked on the news, they have damn near leveled. Israel has damn near leveled cities already. It looked like some shit. Like, honestly, guys, it looks like some shit from, like, the CGI of a disaster post-apocalyptic movie. Like, I've never seen footage. Like, they had the drones fly in. No fuel as well. Israel has cut off their fuel, their gas. I've never seen decimation to that level. Like, even watching it, I'm like, oh, this is a movie, bitch. This is not real. They have decimated those cities. Somewhere upwards of 1,500 Palestinians have died from those bombings, those retaliatory strikes from Israel. Now, here's the thing with Palestine. I believe like half of their population or something like that are children. I'm looking at news reports and I'm seeing people running with babies in their arms. And the babies are dying, making it to the ambulance. I'm seeing young girls. And for those of you who know me, I'm a sucker for children. I'm a sucker especially for little girls. I'm seeing little girls on television, and it just is so sad. At this point, I don't know if there is an answer. Because let's think about this, guys. This conflict, yes, we can look at it from, the 60s, the 40s, this past the previous century. But let's be real. For those of you who are faith-based, this has been going on for a long time. And I'm not so sure that we'll ever have an answer. What I do know is that in 2023, no child, be them Israeli, be them Palestinian, black, white, or whatever, deserves to grow up in a place of war, in a place of death, and in a place of immense cruelty. People deserve to be able to raise their children in safe spaces. People deserve to be able to provide for their families with decent wages. People, and I don't live there. I'm not in a place to decide who's wrong or who's right. But I am in a position to say about who should live where. Let me make that clear. But I do know it is wrong to punish children for wars that existed, beefs that existed, conflicts that existed before they even set foot on this earth. I do know that. Friends, it's been fun. All of those places you can find me online. Y'all be blessed. Have a great day, great evening, and I will see you soon.